Hey everybody, it's me again, comedian Mike Geeter, and I wrote an article this month for BLAC magazine about imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome refers to an internal experience of believing that you are not as competent as others perceive you to be. Now, while this definition is usually narrowly applied to intelligence and achievement, it has links to perfectionism and the social context. I stole that from the internet. Let me tell you a quick story. I grew up poor. I'm one of 17 kids. I know it's a lot of human beings. And I was always told that the only way to get out of poverty is through education. So I buried my face in dictionaries and books and thesauruses and encyclopedias. I tried to learn as much as I possibly could about everything that I possibly could. And I remember one time coming home on the school bus, this one black kid turns around in his seat and he says, "Why do you act white? Why do you talk white?" And I paused because no one had ever asked me that. And my only response to it was, well, what is acting black? And he didn't say anything. He just turned back in his seat and sat down. And I remember the feeling that it made me feel because, again, no one had ever asked me this. And at that time, I had never thought that associating intelligence or speaking well and being able to put together sentences means that that's a white person's thing. And the opposite was reserved for black people. And I learned that lesson in fourth grade. Now, fast forward many years later, I finished like 16th, 17th in my class in high school, honor roll student, the whole 9 yards. I get into an Ivy League school and I never felt comfortable there. I felt like, okay, they only brought me in here to fill a quota, to, some affirmative action thing. And I could never get my footing there. The classes weren't tough. I just was in a classroom full of kids that didn't look like me, I felt smarter than I am, that I felt were more deserving. I felt like I was taking someone else's spot there. And I ended up leaving after a year. Fast forward again. Now I'm in my work career in engineering, and I'm in CAD design and all that, and I'm moving up in different companies and all. And no matter how much experience I got and I attained, I was always told that I couldn't move up in a company because I didn't have a degree. Well, I went and finished up my degree. Then I was told I didn't have the right degree, and I went back and I got the right degree. Then I was told, well, that position isn't open for you right now. And everything was always pushed down the line. So I got a lesson in big business that maybe looking upward or trying to attain a higher position in these companies wasn't for me. And I finally did land a position as a lead at one company, and I had people working under me, and I did everything that a manager is supposed to do: sign time cards and interview and let people go. And I did all of that. And my mother passed away, and I left for bereavement. And when I came back, my manager at the time posted my job to where I had to apply for it. And when I asked, he said he did it to give that position a formal title, which he could have done. I was doing the job for 10 years. But he decided to post a job. Well, I applied and I didn't get it. Someone with less experience did. So that kind of made me feel like, okay, maybe I didn't deserve to have that position. So it's always been this thing with me, this imposter syndrome thing. And I never had a title for it until recently. And I knew it had to come from somewhere. And I know it started when I was younger and not feeling accepted by the black kids in my class that thought that I spoke white. And I wasn't accepted by the white kids in my class that said, no, you ain't white. And this carried on in to my adulthood, in my careers. And no matter what I did, I just never understood why I didn't feel comfortable no matter where I went, no matter who I was around. Well, in 2013, an article in the American Psychological Association says that imposter syndrome isn't anything new. It was first described by psychologist Suzanne Imes, PhD, and Pauline Rose Clance, PhD, in the 1970s. And it's for people who overachieve and they internalize their success as being something that they didn't deserve. Rather than their abilities, they have this fear that people will unmask them as a fraud. And I felt that. I felt that every step of the way of my life, no matter what I did. And the only place that I don't feel that is when I'm on stage. When I'm on stage, I can tell people of all races and groups and all that what I think about the world, and they accept that. But then that in of itself is kind of an imposter thing because they only accept me as this entertainer. So I found out that this imposter syndrome is particular amongst African Americans and Latinx communities. And the pressure to be successful and overturn their fortunes for their family, to be accepted in a company's hierarchies, and just for peers to accept them, because of their background and all that, they just feel like it's not their success. It's someone else's success that they're taking from them. And no matter how high they go with their goals, they don't deserve it. And I feel like this was embedded in me in 4th grade on that bus that day. So how do you overcome this? And there are different things that you can do, different practices that you can put into play. First of all, you have to confront these feelings. You have to make sure that whatever you're dealing with, you don't internalize it. You turn this over to, you don't internalize these things. You turn it over. You face it. You go find a mentor to help you work through these feelings. What I did personally was I went to therapy. And through therapy, which I recommend for all people, especially us black people, especially us black men, therapy is important, 100%. You could go to church, you can go to your mother and your father, you can go to your best friend, but go to someone who is going to be unbiased and give it to you straight and help you not only figure out what the issues are, but help you compartmentalize them and chip away at these ideas that you just aren't good enough. You still have to have your friends involved and your family involved and so on. But therapy helps 100%. And I know this month, BLAC Magazine is focusing on mental health. And I strongly encourage everyone, whether you have feelings of this imposter syndrome or any kind of issue that you need to talk to someone about, therapy helps. I'm a strong advocate for that. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I hope that this helps. And hit me up, Mike Geeter. Talk to you later.